Welcome to your A to Z guide to the 2022 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. F1 makes its first trip to Europe in 2022 for round number 4 of the championship at the historic Imola circuit in Italy. Besides being the first European race of this season, it is also the first sprint weekend of 2022, which should make for a very intriguing race weekend. So we're here with your full race preview, as we'll be breaking down the track characteristics, the important sprint race details and changes, and a lot of F1 news and updates for this weekend. As always guys, if you like these A to Z guides, subscribe to the channel and enable notifications so you never miss a race preview this season. The Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari is one of the more old-school circuits on the modern F1 calendar. It's narrow, bumpy, and properly quick in an F1 car, which gives drivers a legitimate thrill and challenge. The 4.9-kilometer circuit runs anti-clockwise with 19 corners overall, 10 that go to the left and 9 that go to the right. Imola has some fantastic track characteristics with plenty of elevation changes and bends. Being an old-school track, gravel traps are never far away, so drivers are punished for pushing past the limits. Teams will most likely opt for a medium downforce setup, as it gives you good speed down the long back straights and enough grip through the demanding corners of Acqua Minerale and Piratella. Tire stress around Imola is not too harsh according to Pirelli, as it is rated 3 out of 5 on their tire stress scale. But as you'll see in the weekend notes, the need for slick tires might not even be necessary in Imola this weekend. Imola has a long history with Formula 1, appearing under various different names in its history. Up until 2006 it was known as the San Marino Grand Prix, and only until a few years ago did Imola make its return to the F1 calendar. Today it's called the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, simply because Emilia-Romagna is the region which the track is based in. The most successful team in Imola is unsurprisingly the home favorites Ferrari. They've won 8 races at this track for a total of 27% of the victories. Williams is tied with Ferrari for 8 wins as well, and McLaren are the only other team to have won more than once around here, as they have bagged 6 victories of their own. Since this circuit has only recently returned to the sport, only 3 current drivers have won at Imola, and that is Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, and Fernando Alonso. If you want to win a Grand Prix around Imola, starting on the front row is key. 34% of drivers have won from actually starting second on the grid, while another 31% have been able to convert it from pole position. Only 14% of race winners have been able to win starting from outside of the top 3. And finally, the historical safety car probability around this track is at 14%. But since F1's return to Imola in 2020, we've seen a 100% safety car deployment rate for the Emilia-Romagna GP. The first of 3 sprint weekends in 2022, so make sure to check your local session start times. The format is roughly the same as in 2021, with FP1 and qualifying taking place on Friday, the Friday qualifying results determining the starting grid for the sprint. On Saturday comes FP2 and the sprint race in the afternoon. The sprint will then decide the starting grid for the full Grand Prix on Sunday. More sprint weekend changes will be in the weekend notes. Let's start by looking at the predicted weather forecast for Imola. Early indications are that we could be in store for a wet weekend in Italy. Friday looks like the worst day with only a high of 13 degrees and a 90% chance of rain. Saturday looks clear for the sprint race with a high of 22, but there is a chance of a shower for the Grand Prix on Sunday with a 40% chance of precipitation. Moving on to tires, Pirelli go with the C2, C3, and C4 compounds for Imola. The track asphalt dates back to 2011 and is reasonably abrasive. Because it is a sprint weekend, drivers will only have 12 sets of tires instead of the conventional 13. Importantly, teams will have 6 sets of green-marked intermediate tires and 3 sets of blue-marked full wets. Some changes to this year's sprint weekend we'll go over, but just a quick reminder of how things work. The sprint on Saturday will be a 100-kilometer race with no mandatory pit stops and free tire choice. However, what's new for 2022 is the point system. F1 Sprint will now award points to the top 8 drivers, with P1 taking 8 points and a sliding scale down to 1 point for 8th place. The development race is heating up, and plenty of teams are bringing updates to Imola. Here is the current rundown of some of the new bits you should expect to see. So that will wrap up your preview for the 2022 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Be sure to comment your race predictions down below, and if we happen to miss any breaking news, post it in the comments as well. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.